In the studio we have Pavel Payano. He is running for state senate. We're going to try to have Barbara L'Italian come in on the show, but she is afraid of me, and she has not in 5 elections come in to do the show ever. The only interview we actually ever got from her was I had to chase her around with a tape recorder one day while she was screaming at me in Methuen. But I'm hoping things change. I at least want to give her a shot to come on and make her pitch to my audience. Pavel is running. Also, Doris Rodriguez is running in that race. Doris will be here next week. So, Pavel, why don't you start off telling people who you are, why you're running, give like your pitch, and then we'll kind of pick your brain and see, where you stand on stuff and all that.
Sure. Well, first of all, good morning to your audience, and I want to thank you both for having me here for a second time. I know we did an interview several months ago.
Yep.
Essentially, I'm running because I think that this area needs more. There's so many people that I know that have been laid off. Have been working hard, are unemployed, can't find jobs. I met someone when I was knocking on doors that has 4 part-time jobs, and I asked him, how do you do it? He's like, it's not a question about how do you do it. I have 4 kids. I have to pay the mortgage. I think the Commonwealth...
You have 4 kids?
He has 4 kids.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, because he has 4 part-time jobs. I think the Commonwealth can be doing a lot more to increase job growth in the area. I think we should be doing a lot more to help small business owners and owners of micro-enterprises grow. Also, when it comes to, I've been a school committee member for a very long time, and I think that above all, even though the state is doing well nationwide, I think there's more that we can do to fix the broken education system that we have, K through 12.
You're not reading, are you? Are you reading?
No.
All right. He's looking down, and there's no reading on this show.
It's coming right out of his mind.
And and also the price of higher education in the last 10 years has almost doubled.
Shouldn't we lower tuition?
I think so. I think especially when it comes to a community college, it should be a lot cheaper than what it is right now.
Wait. How do you lower tuition? That's a very simplistic question.
Well, the state controls state schools, and they set the tuition rate based on how many millions of dollars they're paying the people who administer the college.
So it's not even the tuition rate is actually pretty cheap. It's the fees. Because every year fees increase, and it doesn't go through the state legislature. It's just the Board of Trustees decide, and usually every time they decide to increase the fees, they give a bonus to the president and the chancellor.
You know how much money Meehan is making these days? Like $180 billion a week. That's how much he's making, and nobody cares. Nobody. That's the thing. Elizabeth Warren runs around talking about how we have to lower the 0.05 percentage interest rate on people's loans, which is a drop in the bucket. It's pennies when you consider how many millions of dollars the heads and administrators of these colleges are making by upping the tuition, upping the fees, upping all this extra expenses, right?
Well, how about this? The president of UMass a couple of years ago, Wilson, I think was his name, he was making around $500,000. He took a sabbatical. So for a year, he wasn't doing anything. He was still getting paid.
Wow.
And I think that type of thing's insane, especially when you go to a coffee shop and you find someone that graduated from a UMass Lowell and is $40,000 in debt and can't find any job in his career.
I am $17,000 in debt from my stint at UMass Lowell. Have owed it forever, and can't pay it. I've had phone calls from whoever they sold my loan to, 20 sellers later, saying, hey, look, if you want to put down half, we'll put you on a payment plan. Well, yeah, if I had half, do you think, if I had $9,000 laying around, $8,000 laying around in my bank account, do you think I'd be giving it to you?
Right.
I'd be using it to pay electric bills and food and shopping and pay my heat bills and my credit card, right?
Right.
So I would be happy if Elizabeth Warren and the Democrats really cared about this issue, those of us who are in debt from student loans. What they should do is they should say, forget this 0.01% interest rate baloney. How about setting up a system where if we want to start making payments on our loan, we don't have to put down 20% or 30 or 50% to get that process rolling.
Right.
I'd like to start getting my college tuition rate down, my college tuition debt down. I don't have the 20 to 50% up front to make that happen. How about just making it easier for people to pay their bills? So what can you do about that? You're going to be in the state senate if you win.
No, I actually love that idea. I think we need more.
He's writing it down. We encourage writing, just not reading. Not reading, but writing is good.
Writing is good.
No, I think that we need more out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
For example, 4 years of undergrad. Do you really need all 4 years? You know, like there's a lot of thought that has been going into, you know, maybe you can condense it so that way, you know, a student only has to go through 3 years of school.
Of course they don't need 4 years. It's all nonsense. As a matter of fact, you could even ask another question. Step back a little bit and ask, why are so many people going to college today? I am a college professor. I teach at colleges, and I know
What do you teach?
that philosophy and theology. I know that half the students that are going to college shouldn't be there. There's no need.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're faced with an economic system where most blue-collar jobs are leaving the country and they're going to India, to Mexico, what we've been told is that you need that higher, you know, training in order to get certain jobs. So
But it's false. You just said it. We have been told. It's a huge narrative that everybody is believing in and contributing to.
You're right. It's false because some of these jobs, you know, they don't really, but they still look for that college degree.
I know they do, but they shouldn't.
You're completely
But
right.
in as much as we continue to go to colleges, like 90% of us continue to pay all that money and get into debt, learning virtually nothing. Because I know a lot of, I know, again, being a professor, how little college students actually learn when they get out, when they graduate. We feed into that. So the more that we go, the more that they can say that's all we're going to look for is college-educated kids, and everybody gets paid.
And while I would agree with that, at the same time, a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, it's very hard for them to find a job that pays a living wage without a college degree.
Even with one.
Even with one, exactly. But it's a lot harder without
See,
it.
what has happened is college has become the new high school.
Yes.
And now,
I agree with that.
Yes,
no
you're right.
question. And now, if you want to get any kind of a job, you need a master's degree or a doctorate.
And even then, I just met someone at church who couldn't find a job with criminal justice bachelor's, so they told him, "Come get your master's," and he's about to be unemployed.
No question.
You know, so even with a master's degree, it doesn't guarantee you anything.
Right.
I have 2 master's degrees and a virtual doctorate, and I can't find a job. So it doesn't really matter the degree that you have in reality.
And I think, and this is one of the issues that, I mean, this is one of the reasons that I'm running. You know, when I went to, and I got my master's, you know, I'm looking at reports that saying the next 10 or 15 years, these blue-collar jobs are leaving.
Yeah.
You know, they're leaving the area in a more rapid rate. So I'm thinking about, you know, my hometown, Lawrence, and I'm like, most of these folks that I know are working at factories, they're working blue-collar jobs, good jobs. So the little jobs that exist right now, if they're not going to be around in 10 or 15 years, what are people doing to try to, like, you know, fix the situation? And at the moment, I don't see a lot of legwork being done, and that's what sort of created this passion for me to, you know, put my name in and see if I can bring people a different voice.
How do you plan on beating a titan like ultra-liberal, ultra-left-wing? I mean, Barbara L'Italian's to the left of our communist friend Tennis Lilly, who used to call the show all the time. She's to the left of him. Like, she's almost to the left of Elizabeth Warren in a state that is as left as Elizabeth Warren, and we elected her, right? So how do you plan on someone who's already served, someone who's got great name recognition in Andover and Tewksbury and Drake, how do you plan on raising the money and raising the name recognition of Pavel Payano to beat someone like a Barbara L'Italian?
It's face-to-face, word of mouth. You know, just yesterday...
Door knocking,
calling on phones. But it's more that face-to-face contact. I was talking to someone, I knocked on the door, and this individual was telling me, listen, Democrats are too liberal, Republicans are too towards the right, this is what I stand for. And it happened to be my 2 big points, which is, even though he's 75 years old, he's looking at, you know, things around the area, and he's like, people can't find jobs. You know, and I look at my son, and he has to pay $50,000 in loans. You know, so those are, you know, 2 of the things that I feel like a lot of people are talking about right now. So even if you're elderly, you think 30 years ago I could work in, you know, one of the mills and still be able to provide a decent type of lifestyle for my family. You can't find that now. And once I start talking about those type of issues, even when there's someone that's with, you know, one of my opponents, they start, you know, saying like, I'm going to keep you in mind, or they say, I'm on your side. I mean, even love Alex a lot, but, you know, I spoke to some folks in Tewksbury that were leaning his way, that were unenrolled, and, you know, I said, well, listen, this is what I think should be happening to small business owners, and you're a small business owner. You know, like, there should be grants. It's not fair that in order for you to start your second business, you got to take out $130,000 in loans on a credit card, paying 28%. You know, if you've been paying the payments, that means you could have gotten a loan from the bank, and the government should be able to help you to do that. So once I start saying about what I stand for and what I feel like I want to do, and I'm someone that's passionate about this, they sense that, they feel that, and I'm something new and something fresh, and I feel like people want that.
I am confused about one thing. last year, 2 years ago, when Alex was running, we came in here with some audio clips, and we made fun of you because you were at Alex Vispoli's fundraiser when he was running for state senate against Barry Feingold, and you're a Democrat. You're I would say probably. I'm trying to be nice, but you're probably a Kool-Aid Democrat, right? You're Kool-Aid drinking. You check all the boxes. Abortion on demand up to 3rd grade, all that stuff. You're for all that stuff.
No,
right?
no.
No?
I feel like us Democrats that were around the Merrimack Valley are a little bit different than, you sort of national Democrats. I see my politics as like realist. There's sometimes that things make sense and they might be blue, they might be red.
So are you abortion, pro-life, pro-abortion?
I think
You're not getting out of here without answering that.
No. I mean, but it's not a simple yes or no. There are certain times where
Let's
someone
start
says.
with the yes or no, and then we can
So
equivocate.
I would say I'm pro-choice. But it depends. If someone says, it's been
It's a Thursday.
it's been 8 months. No, it's been 8 months. Would I think that that's right at the 8 month range? No.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because
Why isn't that right?
because at that point,
My
at
job
8
here is done.
no, at 8 months, I think it's
Yeah.
it's you could give birth at that time, and that's a
So?
child.
Oh, just because you can give birth to it?
Well, it's I think the law right now it's up to the first trimester,
Well, the laws are all over the place, but they're only civil laws. The question is what is true.
and in that point everyone
Yeah.
has their own personal view.
So if my personal view is that human beings don't begin until 3 years after birth, because that's when memories begin to kick in, then I'd be able to terminate my child up until that point, right?
Nancy Pelosi would agree with that.
Because
but I don't know that Pavel will.
Because I created that child and I have that point of view, right?
I wouldn't agree with that. No.
But why not? If you just said if it's up to the parents to choose when a human being becomes a human being, then why can't I have that choice?
Well, it's Roe v. Wade kind of laid out sort of all the laws that stand for that, and the principle behind it is that after the 3rd trimester, there's more complications, that there's more issues when it comes to it's can that child conceive. And it's definitely not a talking point when I go out talking to people, because I focus on the issues that are affecting people on a day-to-day, not issues that are divisive. And all of a sudden, you have folks that should be standing together on things that help them pay the mortgage, and you bring up issues like this, and all of a sudden, folks are on different sides.
Well, now you're talking like a politician. Now, I would agree with you that
Which is why he's running.
that you
for
probably will not cast all that many votes on the important social issues of our day. You probably would be more involved in economic issues. But if a person doesn't get the foundational important truths that make the difference between life and death, I don't know if you can really trust them on other issues. That's all I'll say. Tom?
Thank you for coming, everyone. Good night. Pavel didn't have an answer for that.
So you've written me off already.
Yeah, I would say he probably has.
I have a hermeneutic of suspicion when people try to equivocate about such important issues of life and death in order to try to focus on the more surface issues that other people care about.
Okay. Well, we shall, I guess, agree to disagree. But I mean, I think, after.
Yeah, but he's not running for office. It doesn't really matter what he thinks.
Well, he might be a voter. I'm not sure where, what town he lives
Nah,
in.
he's way out of the. He's way out of the district. Don't worry about anything he thinks.
I'm just a truth seeker that
Right.
wants truth.
He's just trying to get the information out to people listening. That's
I like that.
All right. Do you mind staying through the news? Just
Yes.
give us like 5-10 minutes.
Yes,
so we
yes, of
we
course.
put you on late. 978-454-4980. Tom Duggan Palmerano on the Paying Attention radio program. State Senate candidate Pavel Payano from the Lawrence School Committee is with us. We're going to give him 5, maybe a little bit more minutes after the news, and then we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, including Steve Grossman, some of the state races, and the endorsements of Michael Stevis today. In the studio, we have Pavel Payano. He's a member of the Lawrence School Committee. Are you vice chairman of the Lawrence School Committee?
Not anymore.
Not you used to be vice
I used
chairman
to
of
be.
the non-existent, non-functioning Lawrence School Committee. Let me call you to task because we had a nice, pretty conversation beforehand where there was no conflict, and now we have to change that. You've done absolutely nothing as a member of the Lawrence School Committee for the last. Let me finish my question. Don't you shake your head at me. You've done absolutely nothing in the last 4 years as a member of the Lawrence School Committee to push for transparency. You haven't reached out to me or people in the media to let us know about some of the shenanigans that go on in every school system, so we know you had to have seen stuff. The superintendent seems to give Mr. Blatchford a hard time about certain things being public, his evaluations being public, your individual evaluations. Why now should people look at your performance in the school committee, where you've not really held anybody accountable, with all due respect, and now want to vote to put you in the state senate? Tell me where I'm wrong. Like, I want to be wrong about this, but I need you to tell me where I'm wrong.
So let me tell you what I've done as a school committee member.
Okay.
I've given internships to people in the school system, Lawrence High School. I've created internships there. I've established SAT prep programs at the Lawrence High Schools before I didn't have them, and we saw honors kids not being able to go to college or get as much scholarships because they were doing horrible on the SAT preps. Established those there, helped a lot of students get into college. So those are some of the things that I definitely focused on, trying to create programs, connect different individuals to grants where we STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, we promote more of those fields at the high school. So I've been very focused sort of on that programmatic level. As far as transparency, at the moment, the school committee doesn't evaluate the superintendent. Actually, even though we meet, you're right. It's almost a non-existent board.
Right.
It's essentially a board that it's by law. There has to be a group of individuals that's picked, I think, either by the superintendent or by the state, where they evaluate what the superintendent has done, but it's not a formal evaluation.
Right.
It's essentially the superintendent says, this is how we've done quarterly. This is what we've done in the last 3 months to meet XYZ goal.
Right.
And besides that, the power of the actual school committee is with the state reps, the state senators, and the board of education.
But as a school board member, though, you have an obligation, even though you have no legal authority, you have the obligation to ask questions about how the money is being spent, to make sure that it's being spent the way they say it's being spent, and to alert the public, because you're a public official, to alert the public through the media the shenanigans that are going on. Now, I like Jeff Riley, but there have been shenanigans under him. I'm not saying he's the one doing the shenanigans, but they're happening, certainly with the teachers union at Lawrence High School, they're happening. And yet, it's like pulling teeth to get any information out of any, other than Jim Blatchford, any member of that school board, to get them to proactively come forward and say, hey, we had a meeting last night and I can't get this information. Or, hey, I heard this is going on in the high school and nobody's addressing it for me. You're a member of the press. Do something about it. We haven't heard from you, Pavel. I mean, I like you. You're a good kid.
Yep.
I hope good for you, but I have to call balls and strikes.
Yeah, no, Tom, I mean, the way that I work is I try my best to fix situations without politicizing it. Unfortunately, the way that things work is that once you start saying things publicly, people start thinking, oh, he's using this because he wants to run for X, Y, Z.
Right.
So,
which you do.
I mean, now I do. But 3 years ago I didn't, So if I have an issue with a certain school that... for example, we had an issue that was fixed where they moved the children that have autism to the Bruce Annex, where it's not the best setting for them. I was able to walk in. There was no security guard. There was garbage, all across the lawn. Like, it didn't look like it was well kept. And I had two options. Either one, I could go on Facebook. I can talk about how this wasn't well done. Or I could give a call to the superintendent and say, hey, I need to meet with you.
Right.
These are the issues. Next day, they were all fixed.
Paul, do you have any questions for our friend before we let him go?
Not at the moment.
No. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, how about this? Why,
go ahead.
What is your number one reason why you are running? Why do you want to run?
Yeah, why you went against Alex after you went to his fundraiser 2 years ago?
Okay,
Shame on you.
Well, one, Alex. Alex always brings this up, and he knows that.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I was there because I'm really good friends with his daughter, who's a Democrat, by the way.
You were spying to see how well he was doing, so you could run against him in 2 years. And I called you on it that night, didn't I? I went over to you that night and said, are you thinking of running against him in 2 years? And you laughed. You said, I'm here for the daughter. Yeah. And here we are on the Paying Attention radio program. Come on.
Well, I wish Alex wasn't running so he could support me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, give us. If someone wants to give money to your campaign, if they want to work as a volunteer in your campaign, if they want more information about you, Just give like the phone number, the email, the website address, the PayPal account, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, first I want to thank you both again for this opportunity. Website www.pavelpayano, PAVELPAYANO.com. They can find all the information they need from me. They can donate there as well. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavel Payano, and my phone number is 978-270-7487. Anyone can reach me at this number. It's my personal line. It might take a bit for me to get back to them if they leave a voicemail, but I really want to be a person of the people. I really want to connect with individuals across all 4 towns and find out what their issues are so I can figure out how I can represent them. This is not just a campaign for me, because I want to be just the state senator. I'm really thinking about how we can do things to fix things in the next 5 or 10 years.
My mother told me when I used to have fights with your dad, we used to have all these racism bilingual fights when Question 2 was around. You were at the Frost School, my mom was the school nurse at the Frost School. She used to say to me, I know you don't like his father, but that Pavel is the nicest kid. He's the smartest kid. He is going somewhere someday. Again, I know you don't like his father, and I don't like his father either. But you know what? He's doing something right because he's raising a really good kid. And my mother always said that to me. So when I heard you were running for school committee a few years ago, I called my mother and said, you know what, Ma, you called that one right. He's going to be a senator or a congressman someday.
Wow, thank you.
And I think that you are. I think if you lose this election, you've got a bright future in politics. All I ask,
If he loses it?
if he loses, he still has a bright future in politics.
Still has one. Okay.
All I ask is that because you're young and you haven't been completely brainwashed yet by the media and the party, is to think critically and call out your own side. When your own side is wrong, it'll give you way more credibility when you attack the other side.
I'd agree. I mean, listen, I know a lot of people were against when I said that I thought the state should come in because I thought that the school system was a mess. I got hit by a lot of my supporters, because most of my friends were teachers in the union, and I lost a lot of support because of that. At the end of the day, I think it was the right choice, and hopefully in the next year or two, the state is able to come off, and the citizens of Lawrence are able to take their rightful spot and take leadership of the school system.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Feel free to hang out with us and chat about other stuff if you want to stay, but we have to move into another segment.
No, it's all right. I got more knocking on doors to do.
Possibly can. Get
More
me out of
knocking.
here.
After all, he's a person of the people.
Person of the people.
He's
Are you
not a
doing
man.
Did you get what I sent you?
Which
The
one?
editorial that I sent you that we talked about? Was
I
it
did.
helpful?
Yeah, it was. It
All right,
was.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I care.
I want to know.
Stop Barbara Italian at all costs.
You know what I want to know? I want to know when the term "person of the people" changed from "man of the people."
Oh, God,
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, Paul wants to have a definition discussion on every show.
Well, he's
It's almost like
he's a
having
philosophy
tennis.
professor.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
It's almost like having Tennis Lily here on a regular basis.
I wanna
He's
know-
my communist friend on the
I
left.
want to know when it became politically incorrect to say I'm a man of the people.
Right.
All right.
Well, because being a man is bad, right? All this Warren
I
women
guess so.
belonging.
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you supporting Marcos Devers?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
he's a good friend,
All right.
a fan. So.
Good. Excellent. We got to stop Roger Toomey. He's going to screw this up for everybody. So disappointed in Roger. I don't get it. Even Dan Rivera said to me the other night, what the hell is he thinking?
Well, I think everyone, what I say is democracy.
Yeah.
If you want to run, you should run.
But if you know your presence in the race is going to allow a crook to get elected,
Well,
then shame on you. Shame on
Toomey
you.
has a good shot. As
No, he
anyone.
doesn't.
You don't think so?
Have you
I
looked
think
at
he
the
does.
Have you looked at the number Willie Lantigua's numbers coming out of North Lawrence? He's got 0 shot. Even if Marcos wasn't in the race, Toomey would have 0 shot. With 3 people in the race, there's no way you can divide those votes with Willie holding such a huge chunk of support since the last mayor's race. All right, we got to run. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Latino concentration camps. We're going to talk about Steve Grossman. We're going to talk about the Marcos Devers fundraiser, all the endorsements. Will you come back and will you do a debate?
A debate? Yeah.
Yeah, on this show? All right,
Yeah.
excellent. That was the one question I forgot to ask him. Tell your dad I said hello.
Okay,
We're actually
I will.
friends now.
All right, you guys have a good day.
All right, back after this on Paying
Well,
Attention where
good luck.
everybody gets it. Even Pavel Payano's dad, who used to hate me, Pedro Payano. Tommy, you racist, Tommy. You hate all the things that Dominican people say. You say no.